How you met the prince?
Against everything that I learned as a black man growing up in Detroit City, it was insane.
You went from being a trainer at Equinox to like Rolls Royces and billions of dollars.
This is the first time I'm telling the story.
How does she make 20 million a month?
She's cracked the code.
Welcome back to Driven Channel, and I'm very excited here, drinking the best tequila in the world, and here with one of my good friends, Jerry Ford, and I'm very proud that you've came a long way, and you have a crazy story, like from the Prince to like Equinox to like billions, Phantom, Rolls Royces, and a lot of new cool stuff happening. But dude, you're the perfect story, kind of like myself. Like I don't know if your story is similar in the beginning, but like nobody gave me a shot to do anything in life.
Yeah.
And I just had to figure it out, and I struggled a lot, and people made fun of me, and I just kept going. So like you were a trainer in Equinox. I remember I got my membership 2013, 2012.
Yeah.
And I used to want to go to Equinox because of the hot chicks. So I remember this girl, I don't know if she's watching this, but her name was like Kayla or Kyla, something like that. Not Casey's, his girlfriend's Kayla, but it was she was like some blonde, like not blonde, but some white girl.
Yeah.
But she was like thick.
Yeah.
But like in shape thick. Like tiny waist, but thick,
Thick.
like nice legs, thighs, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So she was there, but there was like another white girl, another exotic like brunette girl, and then the guy trainers were all fit. You were one of them. I remember William.
Yeah. Wait, I remember
William.
Yeah.
But I remember I went in there and it just everybody was fit, and I'm like, dude, I want to work out here and I want to see all these girls. There was a girl like let's leave the girls alone before but everybody was hot.
Yeah, everybody's hot.
So I wanted to go to the gym, and I remember that you were a member there, you were a trainer there. But then you went from a trainer, and no offense to trainers, but most trainers are broke.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, bro, but most trainers are broke. Maybe they work a lot of hours and they're lucky to make $100,000 in a year, right? So you went from being a trainer at Equinox to like Rolls Royces and billions of dollars that you manage, and I know a lot of stuff that's private. I don't want to get into all that unless you want to share it. But how do you go from like a trainer to like all these crazy stories that you've told me, including the Prince and all that stuff? Tell people how you started and how you went from like zero to like everything.
Yeah. So I think being a trainer is a very specific type of career because you get to be so close to people. You're there when they're at their most vulnerable, but you're there when they're at their strongest.
Yeah.
So I took advantage of the opportunities that crossed my path as a trainer. And the one main relationship was my mentor, who taught me everything about the market. And look, he gives me crap when I say he's my mentor, but I call it like I see it. This guy taught me how to use a Bloomberg terminal. He taught me how to study the market and the technical analysis, the fundamentals of the market. So I took advantage and I honed in on that relationship as far as learning about the market, learning about the world, learning about investments. And look, they say you want to be around people you aspire to be like. And I aspire to be like this man he's a 1%er. And that's one of the main reasons why I am where I am today.
Who's his mentor?
He does not want to be mentioned, but he's a billionaire. And I actually talk about him in my book. I wrote a whole chapter about this guy. And he'll get pissed, but his name's Bill.
Well,
and
makes sense.
And he's just, look, he's a traditional Wolf of Wall Street beast. And I spent a lot of time with this man. And I like to think that I picked up all of his good habits and left the shitty ones.
He had bad habits?
Everybody's got bad habits. But no, he's a solid investor, man. He's a shark. He's a beast. And I took what
where's he from?
He's from New York.
New York?
Yeah. I took what he taught me and I tried my best to magnify it times 10.
And he's the one that got you into like trading and yeah.
He's the one that got me into trading,
Did
investing.
he teach you how to do that?
He taught me. He taught me how to use a Bloomberg terminal look, and a Bloomberg terminal is a subscription-based program that outlines the market. I mean, graphs, charts, RSI, which is relative strength index, fundamentals. It's like looking at the world. And people come over and they see the screens and they go, dude, what is this? Because I have two 6-foot screens that are just insane. So the first time he taught me how to use it, but when he first started teaching me how to use it, he's like, dude, it's not rocket science. And I'm looking at the screens, and anybody who's in finance who knows how to use a Bloomberg terminal, I'm like, what is this? And he's like, dude, it's not rocket science. It definitely is rocket science. But me being as hungry as I was, I had to learn. And so I was obsessed with the idea of compounding money, because Einstein said, compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. I was so obsessed with the idea of compounding money, I manifested and put it into practice.
And so this mentor, like he made all his money in what?
In the market.
In the market.
In the market. 100%.
Like trading?
Well, he was I think he started off as a hedge fund manager, and then he just moved on from there. And all stocks, all securities, and oil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the most money you made in the year?
The most money that I've
Like
made,
more or less.
I'll tell you the most money that I've made in a day. It was $1 million in about an hour. That was the most money I've ever made, and that was in 2018 or 19. And I made $1 million in a day.
Were you a trainer?
I was just segueing out of training.
Yeah.
And I made $1 million in one day, and it was off of an oil stock, as oil was coming out of negative $50 a barrel. That was the most money I've ever made in about an hour a day, a trading session.
It was a good day.
It was a good day.
Did you go celebrate after?
No. It's like, what's the next thing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the most money you lost in a day?
I once held on to a stock that went bankrupt, and it was in the beginning of my career.
Yeah.
And I lost maybe $400,000 in a day. Because look, anytime a company don't pay their bonds, or their debt rather, it's like, you got to go. Yeah. And I was so naive, and I was so new to investing, trading. I was like, well, look, maybe they're saving their money to keep the lights on. Yeah. That's a horrible strategy, horrible idea. But the most money I've lost in a day is about 400.
Yeah.
400,000.
What do you think is the secret to like staying in the game and not going out of business or not messing it up? Because like you could make a lot of money in one day or in a week or in a month. So, but then what happens if you lose everything the next month?
I think there's a few different key pillars in investing. So I think there's foresight, I think there's second level thinking, and I think there's things that can't be reduced to paper after you factor in technical analysis and fundamentals. However, on the real side of things, I think that dollar cost averaging, you cannot go wrong. And after you check your technical analysis, after you check the fundamentals, if you dollar cost average, which means you put the same amount of money into the same set of securities that are holding true to their earnings call, which is saying, I'm basically following exactly what we're saying we're going to do. If you dollar cost average into good cash flow companies, then long term, you're going to win every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jerry, what do you have to say about like your like being in shape? Because you're not a trainer anymore, but you stay in shape. You're like always running, working out, weights.
Yeah, man. Yo, staying in shape, it's the backbone of my entire life. I do ultra marathons as a hobby. I just did a Spartan Ultra just a few months ago, but being in shape shapes everything else in your life. Because Look, the most people that are sad, depressed, it's because of what they look like. But when you work out, you feel good, you look good, you feel good. And there are few types of dopamine that happens when you work out.
Yeah.
So if more people did it, then, Ozempic would be out of business.
You think have you ever been fat or no?
No, I never been fat. My version of fat, but no, never been
What's
fat.
your version of fat?
My version of fat is like 220 pounds, and I'm 210 right now. And anything over 220 pounds, and look, I'm sorry if you're overweight and unhappy with yourself, but if I get to 220, I just stop eating for a week, bro. It's like, okay, stop eating for a week. You go green juice. I wake up. I'll have my green juice, and then.
But you're like what, like 6'1" or?
I'm 6'1".
Yeah.
But that is
so 220 for you is like.
That's like okay, because look, it starts
like 180 for me.
Exactly, because it starts with 220, then it goes to 230, and then before you know it, it's just a few pounds turned into 240.
Oh, 240.
I was 240 last year. I was going through a divorce. And
last year you were going through a divorce?
No. This was a couple years ago. I was going through a divorce, and I got to 240, and that's why I started racing.
Did you still look good, or you looked a little fat?
I still look good.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, "Oh, Jerry, you look good," but I was like, "No."
Did you still get chicks hitting me?
Of course. But that's who we are. That's forever going to be in play. But for me personally, I said, you know what? This is not okay. Yeah. I couldn't fit into my suits. I couldn't fit in my clothes. And more importantly, when I went, I used to be a trainer. Mm-hmm. So when I used to go to parties, I was the first person to take my shirt off. I was shredded. So to go from being the first person to take his shirt off to being the only person with his shirt on, I said, this has got to stop. So I started doing the ultra marathons.
So before we get into your success and everything, so what happened when you got divorced? Like, why did you get divorced? So when you get divorced, like how many? Do you have some kids?
Yeah.
Why did it happen, and what did you learn from it?
I think people grow together, and I think people grow apart. My ex-wife is definitely one of the smartest women that I know, but it didn't work. One thing that I learned is that you have to be sure that when you get married, your moral values line up, all values line up financially, everything has to line up. You have to know that person inside and out.
Is she the mother of your daughter?
She's the mother of my daughter.
You only have one daughter, right?
I have two daughters. I just had a newborn.
Congratulations.
A month ago.
Oh, that's right. You told me. Yeah.
And look, I'm not married to my girl now, but I know her like the back of my hand. Like,
are you gonna get married again?
Who knows?
Maybe
Who knows? But my girl now, if she gave me the ultimatum, which is not her, and she said, "You marry me or we're done," I would get married. But that's not how we work. That's not how it should work.
Yeah, but you have good sales skills, so you could probably. So your your daughter, your older daughter.
Yeah.
She's like my daughter's age. Is she like 8 or 7?
No, she's 5. She's tall.
5. Oh, she's like Berlin. She's like the one that was here right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's 5. So how long were you with her mom?
I was with her mom for a few years, 2 years before we got married.
So like, why are you happy? And then what happened that where you're like, oh, you know what, it's better if we're separated. And then did you think about like my daughter's 5 or 4? She might go through a hard time.
Actually, and look, there's no perfect time to get a divorce, but we got a divorce at the perfect time because my daughter was 2 when we divorced. So
she doesn't know what's
my
going on.
daughter doesn't even know what it's like for her mom and I to live together. And she make jokes. She goes, "Oh man, I wish you guys lived together." And I'm like, "No, you don't." But yeah, she has no idea. She don't remember, which is great. It's perfect.
So now, like, what is your plan? What is your perfect like plan for your family and business? Like, how do you keep both? Because you like your life the way the way you run your life is pretty cool. Like I like it. You have your nice place. I've been to your place before, but you have it seems like you have a lot of freedom, and you could function, like you're not like controlled.
No, I don't work well under controlled circumstances. That's just not who I am. I've never been that person. And I do have a lot of freedom, but I'm also really focused on very few things. There's God, there's my family, there's work, and working out. Those are that's my primary focus.
That's like mine too.
That's my primary focus. Because people look at it and they go, how do you do so much? But when you bullet point it to 4 specific things and everything else happens as it happens, it's not so much.
Yeah.
It's a mindset. It's a mindset, and it's having just enough discipline to make a habit,
Yeah.
and then you're able to live
Yeah.
freely within those habits.
Yeah. You mind, Jerry, talking about how you met the prince? Is it the prince of Saudi
the prince.
And Morocco, right?
Yeah. So,
Because you told me a story where you're kind of like in a funk, or you're like you need help, and something's going on, and then one of your clients from the gym happens to be a prince, and really wealthy prince, and then what happens there? What happens then?
I'll tell you how we met, and I'll tell you how our relationship went and how it's
Saudi
going.
people have a lot of money, huh?
First of all, I met this guy as a trainer. Now, look, I came from New York where I hung out with billionaires. I knew billionaires. The guy who taught me everything I know is a billionaire, but
But this guy was on another level.
another level, but also he looked different. I had never met a billionaire that was Saudi, young, and like this kid had no accent. He knew all the Michael Jackson dances. He had rhythm. He knew all the Tupac and
So
Biggie
when you
songs.
see him, you don't think he's a billionaire.
So you don't think he's a billionaire. He's a cool, hip person. I met him. We started training. Now look,
He's not even in shape.
he's not even in shape. No, he was in horrible shape.
He was like skinny?
He was fat.
Oh, really?
And look, we joke about this all the time. He was fat. And I met him and we started working.
He had a
out.
lot of money.
He had a lot of money. I had no idea. So we
So
start
he still got girls.
Yeah. But I'm gonna tell you, we start working out, and then he's like, hey, let's go out, because we moved to LA around the same time. Start going out. We're standing in line, which nobody's a fan of. And he's like, listen, how much is it to just get to the front? They're like, well, let's get a table. He said, no problem. I'll pay $10,000 for a table. All of a sudden, I realized we're going out Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, spending $10,000 to $40,000 at every club. Sometimes going to 2 clubs, day party, night party, in one day. And so finally I go, dude, what do you do?
He would drink like all day.
All day. I'm like, what do you do? He's like, oh, I'm a prince. The prince of what? He's like, no, I'm a prince. I live in Saudi. I call bullshit. As we started to go on, his $150 million house in Bel Air, and with the penthouse we had in West Hollywood, it got more insane. Girls, crazy. So then I had a motorcycle accident in 2018, and I was pretty banged up. So I moved with him. And after I healed, I just stayed with him. And I tell you, man,
How crazy did it get?
It was insane. I mean, it was insane.
Like, talk about the insane.
Like, there were girls walking around the house at all times.
Like how many?
Maybe 10 girls walking around the house. Just the entire house.
At a time.
At a time.
But like these 10 girls are like normal girls, or?
Well, you got to define normal. Right? Anybody who's expecting something, by technical definition, it's not a normal girl, right?
Yeah.
And we live in a city where there's a thin line, but he was for sure paying these girls a month, you know, and it it was different. It was crazy. And then, most of princes that come from different countries, they're here to go to school. Well, he decided that he wanted to drop out of school and do his own thing. So, and this is the first time I'm telling the story. So he talked me into giving him my entire life savings. His family cut him off. All of that money per month that they was giving him for allowance.
What about the $150 million home?
That's his family's home. So it's not like he can leverage it.
So he can still live there, though.
He can still live there. We didn't have to worry about rent, mortgage, no cars. We didn't have to worry about gas. We didn't have to worry about food.
But no more money for girls.
But no more money for partying. They cut him off.
So he asked you to give him your life savings?
And they gave him a deadline to when he had it to be home. So he goes, listen, man, why don't you just give me everything you got? Typical scam, right? Yeah. And when they cut me back on, I'll contact my brother and they'll turn the lights back on. It'll be okay.
Yeah.
So against everything that I learned as a black man growing up in Detroit City, I gave it to him. I said, "This is my brother." Man, I think it was over 250. It was because I liquidated every stock, I liquidated everything, and I gave it to him. And he was supposed to give it back to me 2 weeks later. But 2 weeks turned into 4 months.
So how'd you guys party?
We didn't. It was crickets for 4 months.
How long did the $250K last?
It lasted a weekend.
A weekend?
A weekend. It was gone. It was gone. And it was over. I can't remember what it was, but it was over 250 that I gave him. It was a lot of money. And so 2 weeks turned into 4 months. We're fighting in the house. Like, I can't leave. I don't got nowhere to go. And so
did you guys still manage to bring girls home or no?
Dude, we were so depressed. All we wanted to do was come home and watch Green Arrow. So when they turned the lights back on, he gave me my money back plus more. And he told me that I would never have to want for anything. And look, there's been times, my divorce, one of them, there's been times where I've needed money because assets was frozen or I just needed a bailout or help or to start my company. And he's been the first one every time.
Yeah.
That's my brother for life. Now, I would never advise anybody to do that. That's stupid. But that was my boy.
You still talk to him right now?
Oh, all the time.
What does he do? Is he just super rich?
Super rich, bro.
He doesn't work? Nothing?
I mean, they have obligations for the family company. Mm-hmm. But, family company says it all.
So if you didn't meet him, do you think that your life would be different or you would have met somebody else? Because I know when you were in trouble, he wired you like a big amount, right? Do you ever talk about that or no?
Yeah. Does he ever talk about that?
No. Have you ever?
No,
told that story?
I don't talk about it much, only because
But it was a large amount that he wired you. So you don't have to say the amount, but like where I'm trying to go is like people are watching this right now and they see you, right? Like the biggest skill is sales.
100%.
Like personality 100%. and you gotta sell yourself.
That's right.
If you didn't sell yourself, it's not, forget about the good looks and being fit. Like you have to have that personality and be able to be a great communicator.
That's right.
And express your message so that people believe in you.
That's right.
To wire you millions of dollars. I'm just gonna leave it like that.
Yeah.
But like how important is it for you to get these relationships? But once these relationships are in front of you, how do you get these relationships to believe in you so that you, whenever you get into a hole, you're like, damn, I have these people that are gonna back me up?
So I think you just said it best. Relationships and how you lead and deal with people is key. I would say 15% of whatever you make is due to technical knowledge. It's the stuff you're supposed to know. But the other 85% of what you make comes from your ability to lead and deal with people as your personality. And I think that anytime people make an investment, anytime I make an investment, the first thing that I think about is, okay, the numbers, the fundamentals, but will I follow the CEO off a cliff? And that's the person that's leading it. How much do I believe in the leader?
Yeah.
So that's a testament to who you are, because you have to have that personality. You have to have that record of being persistent for somebody to invest in you. So that, God forbid, anything happens, I called him. I'm like, bro, I'm at my low. I need help. And his question was, why didn't you call me sooner?
And like, how long did you know him? Like how long did you did you guys spend together? How many years? Where I'm going at is like, you meet somebody for like 6 months, they're not gonna just cut you a check for a big amount. But like, if you've known somebody for 5 years and you've been there, and they're like, oh, this guy's legit. He's had my back. He's loyal.
That's
like,
right.
how long did it take you to build that relationship? Because I have a friend right now that's pretty wealthy, and I know that if I need help, I can tell him, hey, send me a few million, and he'll send it.
5 years.
Yeah, makes
It took
sense.
us 5 years. It took us 5 years, but I'm like, we are brothers. 1, 2. When I emptied my bank, he told me this. He goes, when you emptied your account and you gave me every penny, that just wasn't hundreds of thousands of dollars. That was billions to me, because you didn't have it and you gave it to me. You jumped off the cliff with me. Now look, were we both stupid? Sure. But all that mattered was, at that time, I had his back. So he told me, you will forever want for nothing.
Yeah.
And he proved himself.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
You know?
So, looking at your life today, you know, you're 36, 37?
36.
36. And your next goal is what? To become a billionaire, I heard?
Yeah, my next goal in the next 3 years
Next 3 years?
is to be a billionaire
So before 40.
before 40. Before 40. And look, I keep this goal in mind every day. I think, okay, 3 years, my billionaire goal. I'm on a 3-year billionaire track. So I'm like, what am I doing every year to become a billionaire?
Is that tequila good for you?
Huh?
Is that tequila good? Yeah.
This is good.
It's good stuff, right?
I'm gonna have to
Gotta
take
have
some to go.
I gotta have some good stuff for a billionaire.
But I think, what am I doing every year to be a billionaire? Then I go, what am I doing every month for every year for 3 years to be a billionaire?
So to become a billionaire, you have to manage how many billions?
You know what? I'm not sure, but I think, what do I need to manage to double my net worth? But then I think, what investments do I need to invest in that are cash flow?
Yeah.
And then I think, okay, what's another business that can be just cash flow?
Yeah.
What and I think, okay, real estate, just like I wrote in my book, real estate, stock market, smart spending, investing, starting companies.
You have Bitcoin?
I don't have Bitcoin.
Do you believe in Bitcoin?
Look, I just met Michael Saylor at CPAC, and look, he can sell Bitcoin to anybody, but I'm not a crypto investor. And look, maybe I'll look up and that'll be a mistake, but I try to stick to equities over a certain market cap.
What are like good equities right now that you recommend people to invest in?
Well, right now we are in a very tricky time.
But right now, if you're great, you're gonna take over, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you like these times, or you don't like them?
I love these times because there's opportunity.
Yeah.
Because look, long term, everybody, the most people has made the most money in the stock market. You know, and look, the stock market has never stayed down. And right now, we're only at a 10% correction in the major markets, which is really nothing. But again, that dollar cost averaging to where you pick kick-ass companies, and just to name a few, you got Meta, who's puking cash. You got, Google, that, one of the cheapest business to be in is owning a gas station. That's just fact. You got Google, that's cheaper than owning a gas station. So you got these.
Why is that happening?
With the correction?
Yeah. Like,
Well,
why is Meta peaking cash?
they just have they're the only platform that has access to billions of people on one platform. There's over 3 billion people on a planet, and they're the only platform that has the access to most of those people on the platform. So between advertisement, between AI, between everything, they are puking so much cash. When I say puking, I mean they're making so much money.
I thought when you said puking,
No,
they're
no.
losing money.
And then look, this probably won't happen, but there's so much potential for Meta. Look, even if they wanted to appeal to retailers and do a stock split, they're the only FANG stock, one of the only biggest market cap stocks that hasn't done a stock split yet.
What about TikTok?
And I think Netflix too. TikTok.
You don't think TikTok can take over Instagram? Meta?
I think maybe, but they just need to establish a consistent cash flow with earnings. Because look, my dad owns TikTok. In one quarter he's up 30%, one quarter he's down 50%. Long term, sure, maybe, because TikTok is, look, when TikTok shut down, it was hell to pay. I think TikTok has the potential to do a lot of things, but also I think investing in TikTok is like investing in China. There's so many political concerns. If the US owned TikTok, sure, I'll put some money in it and forget about it. But because of the political concerns and listing concerns of it being overseas company, it's like, who knows what can happen to TikTok if it was who knows?
Yeah. Because Meta has Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp.
Yeah.
So like it's a pretty safe bet that those three are gonna last for a long time.
Exactly. And plus, they have the money to build or steal the idea of something that's being built better.
Mm-hmm.
They have the balance sheet.
Yeah. Do you use WhatsApp?
I do. Every day.
You like it?
I love it.
That's a good business platform, right?
It's the only way you can communicate to people who's overseas. One of the only ways. But WhatsApp is just as popular as,
Is it better than Telegram?
Well, I think it's more. I could be wrong, but I think it's more popular than Telegram. But also, I think people use Telegram for very specific reasons.
Like what?
Hey, people use Telegram to hide their identities. People use Telegram to create stuff to hide their identities.
Let me ask you a question about innovative campaigns.
Yeah.
So when COVID times, right? Mm-hmm. COVID happens and they shut down office spaces, and I remember they tell me like, hey, you can no longer work from the office. People have to work from home.
Yep.
And I mean, I used to go to strip clubs, but I stopped a long time ago. So I remember like when that happened, like strippers were out of business.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh shit, you can't, no, the strip clubs closed. And like to a lot of guys.
And that was before OnlyFans.
Yeah. Well, that's where I'm going. So to a lot of guys, a lot of men were demoralized. They were like, shit, no more strip clubs.
Yep.
No more clubs, no more strip clubs, no more, I can't go and meet girls. Those guys that would go there. Henry, can you hit the AC, please? So there's this guy that he comes up with an innovative campaign. You're a big reader, so I'm sure you read Blue Ocean Strategy, the book. Yeah, so just like Cirque du Soleil redefined the circus industry, this guy comes up with an idea. Hey, let's do webcams and let's do like OnlyFans.
Yeah.
So the founder is a multi-billionaire. He built a multi-billion-dollar company.
He sure did.
By just having girls.
He sure did.
Record themselves. And some girls record themselves having sex with their boyfriends, and they don't even have to go out there and sleep with people or rub people or dances, whatever you want to call it, right? The sport, whatever you want to call it. They just have sex with their boyfriends or just play with themselves, record it and post it, and they make more money than LeBron James, Luka Doncic, all these players.
Exactly.
So if you look at the stats, the combined salary of NBA players, I believe it is $4.8 billion, I believe, for last year. And the combined income of all the OnlyFans girls is $6.8 billion. So OnlyFans girls make more money than the NBA players.
Yeah, that's true.
So like,
That's true.
how does that happen? And you, like, just business wise, like, how do you like, what is your opinion about like why that's going on? Because if I'm watching this, and let's say I'm and hopefully my daughters never see this, but if you're watching this and you're like a young kid growing up, you might want to be an OnlyFan instead of being a professional NBA player.
Yeah, I mean, look,
it's easier.
It is, and look, sex sales. It sales, and I think that it's funny because I now have a few OnlyFans girls in my fund.
Oh,
Hey, and look, it's great because
so the top one, how much money does she make in a year?
she makes 15 million a year.
15 million a year?
Yeah, she makes 15 million a year.
OnlyFans.
And I'm talking.
Well, you're a good-looking guy. Does she ever try to like hook up with you or not?
You know what? Any sign, I ignore it. Because I know that will end.
She must look a lot
badly.
sexier at 15 million.
Oh, she is hot.
15 million a year makes her a lot more hot.
She's hot. But also, listen, it's good that these girls are thinking about investing because they're making a lot of money. Who knows how long it's going to be around? But I think
it'll be around forever.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
Sex sales.
It's a recession-proof industry.
100%. And anytime somebody's depressed, they go to sex. Anytime somebody's rich and happy, sex sales. Sex has been selling since the beginning of time. And now that everybody...
Even a homeless person under a bridge thinks about sex.
100%. And they will conjure up $9 a month to subscribe to their favorite strippers.
How many homeless people in the U.S.? Let's see. How many homeless in the U.S.? Let's see, in America. So there's 771,000 homeless people
in the U.S. only.
Yeah, in the U.S. So 771,000. Let's say times $9. Wait, times $9. So that's 6.9 million.
Wow.
From homeless.
Wow.
I mean, if I was homeless and I was like defeated, I would probably sign up for $9.
100%. $9 a month. Anybody can find $9 a month. To choose an insane network of whatever woman that they wanted. It's happening.
Yeah.
It's happening. Look, I get girls saying, Jerry, my one OnlyFans girl who's now in the fund, she was like, you should start an OnlyFans and you should just work out. I said, what? She goes, yeah, you should start OnlyFans.
What, do you make money?
She was like, I guarantee
How much money does she think you can make?
She said she think I can make 6 figures a month. She think I can make over $1 million a year by just setting up an OnlyFans and working out.
Are there guys that make a lot of money?
She said there are.
I think
I don't know how true it is. I think most of the earners, I think everybody can agree, are women for sure.
Yeah. Let's ask ChatGPT. ChatGPT, because I think it's all mostly women.
I think it's mostly women.
I'm not even signed up. I am signed up, but I'm not logged in. Highest only fans earners. Let's see. Men versus women. Okay, male creators tend to earn more than female creators on OnlyFans.
What? Is that true?
Male creators earn between $1,500 and $7,500 per month on average. Male creators What percentage of OnlyFans users are? Who makes the most OnlyFans? Yeah, well, Black China is number one, 20 million. She makes 20 million per month.
Yeah.
Black China, 20 million per month.
Million per month. Yeah.
Black China.
It's insane.
Dude, Black China, I don't think she's ugly. I think she's decent looking, but I've seen way better, like hotter girls in Black China. How does she make 20 million a month?
She's cracked the code. She's cracked the code.
What is she? Does she do like porn?
I have no idea. If she invests at least 1 month of that money, right?
Why don't you get
get
Black China to like invest in you?
Trust me, I'm trying. I'm trying. If you're watching this podcast, which she might actually see,
yeah,
come
Black
talk
China.
to me. Come see me, because together we can democratize.
Dude,
capitalism.
I saw Black China like 10 years ago, and I'm like, oh, she's pretty hot.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize like 10 years later she's making 20 million a month on
100%.
OnlyFans.
And I wonder how much she's spending a month.
I don't think she spends a lot. I think she's pretty frugal.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see her, but like she could literally buy a jet every month.
Every month.
And then second place is Bella Thorne.
Bella Thorne, yeah.
Third place is Cardi B.
Cardi B.
She's cute.
Yeah, Cardi B's cute.
Dude, it's all black girls. Cardi B, and then fourth is Iggy Azalea.
Iggy Azalea.
Iggy
Azalea, yeah.
And then fifth is Coco Austin. Is that a black girl or a white girl?
I don't know.
Tyga is number 6.
Tyga's number 6?
Yeah. Mia Khalifa number 7.
Wiz Khalifa's number 7?
No, Mia Khalifa.
Oh,
Mia, the porn star.
Say, what's he doing? Smoking weed?
And then Bad Babby is number 8.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, but
wow.
Dude, this just shows you the power of being online.
Yeah.
So talk about that, because you weren't like, if you go back to on your Instagram, like you were like not really on social media.
Yep.
And now you're very consistent posting on social media. You do your stories.
That's right.
I love your posts with your girls. And it seems like you just post whatever makes you happy. Like, you don't care what people think about you.
That's right.
And I'm sure you have haters and people that criticize you. How do you deal with, number one, criticism, and how important is it for you to like showcase your lifestyle on your social media, personal brand?
Yeah, I think one,
because you show off a little bit sometimes, your Rolls Royce.
yeah,
and all that
sometimes,
stuff.
yeah. I think. Look, you're always going to have haters, but that's their job. Somebody's got to hate.
That's the job, yeah.
And when you're a leader,
there's a lot of full timers.
Yeah, there's a lot of full timers.
Full time haters.
When you're a leader, that's how you know you're doing something right. When you're a leader and you're killing it, and you come from, look, I'm from the streets. I'm from the streets of Detroit. You know, I watched my brother get murdered. I watched my best friend get murdered. I've witnessed a lot of gang, drug selling. I'm from the absolute streets.
Yeah.
So when you're from where we're from, and you get to where we are, people are going to have an opinion. That's great. My job is to not worry about that. My job is to focus on what I need to focus on to get on my 3-year billionaire track. But I think you need to be online. I think right now, all business, everything, all people, the money is mostly online. Sales. We're just living in a different time.
And if you have sales and you're online, you're going to be deadly.
You're going to be deadly.
Yeah.
Because, look, some people are just radiant. Like, I watch your stuff. I look at you. You're radiant.
What does that mean?
Radiant means that you just shine. Look, bro, we're on a podcast. The lights, we're shining right now, and we look good. We look good in the spotlight.
Yeah.
And some people are going to say, you know what? That's motivating me. And some people are going to say, look, they are losers, compensating for something else. They drive their nice cars, and that's their job.
if they say we're losers, it makes no sense.
It makes no sense.
Because we're standing on top of the world.
And that's why they will forever
Let me ask you a question. Like right now, you're gonna go somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And you're driving what car? Are you driving or you have a chauffeur?
I'm driving. I'm driving right now a Ghost Rolls Royce.
And you have one coming?
And I have one coming.
What do you have coming?
Phantom.
A Phantom?
Extended wheelbase.
Hey, so let's get into that. So like what caught my attention is we're at the gym, right? We're working out, and I always see you there, and you're never working out.
Some hours are social hour.
You're always just walking. You're walking around looking in the mirror, checking yourself out, and you're just like you're socializing, yeah. But we start whenever we meet up, right, at the gym, or we run into each other, like we start talking, and you tell me, hey, you know what? I don't keep a lot of money in my bank account, and then you're like, oh, I just bought this Phantom, and you're like, always put minimum down, and you're gonna get this payment, and just lease it, and do this, and tax reasons, and I can go on and on. But you're very smart in the financial space, and I want to learn more about that. So, like, if I'm gonna get a Rolls Royce, because I want to get, I want to get I want to have a driver.
Yep.
I want to get the extended one.
Yep.
Covered up, back seat,
curtains.
Have curtains. Have some of this, and just chill in the back.
Fridge in the back.
And so, how do you get a Rolls Royce? How much money do you have to be making to get like something like a Rolls Royce? And how much down? And should you lease or should you buy?
So, I have one rule, many rules, but the one rule as far as cars.
Because I got Case over there.
Yeah.
He wants to go and get a Lamborghini. And, and I told him, dude, don't get a Lamborghini yet. He's 24 years old.
Wow.
And he started making more money than ever.
Yep.
And so like I tell him, hey, tone it down a little bit. Mm-hmm. Wait a little bit.
So I think if it flies, drives, or takes half your assets when you leave it, you should always lease it. A lot of tax reasons. And plus, as soon as you drive off the lot, a car depreciates. But if you lease it, you're literally paying for the time that you drive it. As far as how much money you should have.
No, I lease my cars.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but most of them I lease them.
Yeah.
But then people say that I rent them and they talk shit and they say that I'm a brokey.
Well, that's because we go back to that being their job.
Yeah.
They have to have a job.
But they also have to afford the lease payment.
That's true. They can't afford the lease payment, because if they could afford the lease payment, they wouldn't be doing the job of a hater.
And then again, you have to you have to qualify for a purchase price.
Exactly.
So
but
first of all, they wouldn't even qualify for the lease.
The thing is that the payment, if you lease it, has to be so irrelevant. And what I mean by that is it has to be so small that you don't think about it, or you have to have an asset that pays for the liability.
So let's just say if you make $70,000 a month consistently,
yeah.
What kind of payment can you afford on a lease for?
Well, that's easily a 5-10% payment. 5%.
So
allocated to a car.
So $5,000-6,000 a month, you should be able to get it.
Easily, if you're consistent. And look, if you're making $70,000 a month, you probably have assets that are bringing in X, which could be a very attractive number.
Yeah.
So I say let the assets pay for the liabilities. And look, you may have real estate, or you may have something bringing in passive income in addition to the $70,000. In that case, you can get whatever you want.
So then lease is good. And then also lease, you could write off the lease if you like. How do you write off a lease in Texas?
Well, first talk to your accountant. But there's certain cars that you can write off as a lease.
Are you writing off the Phantom? Is it Phantom or Phantom?
I don't own any of the cars that I drive.
So you don't own.
That's a whole separate discussion.
But you control them.
Exactly. I control them.
Well, it's kind of like having a girlfriend instead of being married.
Exactly. Now, my girl or your wife is going to kill both of us. I control them, but I don't own them.
You're not married.
That's right. I'm not married. Which, look, when you, there's
better to control than own.
That's right. It's better to control than own. And people will realize that there's ways to do that in every aspect of the word in the world if you're just a little smarter about it.
Yeah. It's funny how personal and business like align a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah. The way you do one thing is the way you do everything.
That's right. Which is why working out is the first step into every major step in your life.
Now, if we were like ugly individuals, do you think we would have less money or the same?
You know, that's a tough one because there's some ugly billionaires.
Sure.
There's some ugly billionaires, but I wouldn't want to hang out with them. But I will say that self-confidence, self-motivation, and how you see yourself determines
I'll tell you my
determines
like,
everything.
I'll tell you how I feel. Like, so I know a lot of billionaires that are not good looking and they're not fit, but they're fucking billionaires, and they could walk and they'll get less recognized than myself.
100%.
But as far as the way I made a little bit of money and got a little bit successful, like I have a long ways to go. But for me, because I was always like, I always had a chip on my shoulder, so I always wanted to feel better.
Yeah.
I always wanted to look better. I always wanted to like train harder. I always felt like I had to give more because I always felt like I was the ugly guy, the short guy, the Mexican guy, minority guy, whatever.
Yeah.
Like I always felt like I was not good enough. So I always felt like I needed to be better. So it always forced me to like try to be better, work harder than everybody else, be in better shape, whatever it takes. Take creatine, lift more weights, get a tan, do this, do that. So I always felt like I needed to look better to get to where I wanted to get. But yeah, there's a lot of billionaires that they're fat and ugly, but they're billionaires. But I was not that smart enough. And maybe I'm calling myself a little or calling I'm just what is it? What's that word? Calling, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but calling myself a little short, but
selling yourself short.
Selling myself short, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's who I was. I was always the ESL student. I was always the special ed student, and people never gave me a chance. So I had to fight harder. I was just not that smart, and that's how I made it. Not sure how.
Yeah,
how you feel about that.
Likewise, like I said, I'm from the streets.
And like I played basketball. Like I had a lot of black friends, Latino friends, and it was always like us like against the white.
No, 100%. It was the same thing with me. I'm from the streets. I wasn't that smart, but one thing that I realized was, you don't need to be smart to be successful. You need to have specialized knowledge. That's knowledge in one particular thing that you can hone in on, and you can hit a home run. Now, over time, we've become smart.
Yeah.
Especially in the field where we acquire the specialized knowledge. And now with the intellect, with the ability to lead and deal with people, now there's nothing stopping us. But I hear what you're saying, because one, you're Latino, I'm black. So by nature, we had to be 10 times better than everybody in every second just because of history. But I feel you, because I'm from the streets, and I was never the smart guy. I was the guy that had to figure out with street smarts, with specialized knowledge, and with the art of human engineering, figuring out how to claw my way to the top.
Yeah. Makes sense. So now to wrap this up, you have a lot of clients right now that are powerful, CEOs, founders, billionaires, and they lead big companies. How do you win their trust? Because let's just say we got Henry, and he runs X company. And how do you get those types of clients?
Yep.
And if somebody's watching this and they're like, hey, you know what? Well, I work in this little East LA area, and I can't get anybody but just like, smaller clients. How do I get multi-million-dollar clients in Beverly Park, in Beverly Hills, in Bel Air, in Westwood?
Yep.
How do I get into those people that make a ton of money?
So I think it's a two-part question. I think first, if you have no history, no data, no establishment with that client,
Because you have the track record now.
because you got the track record now, but coming to make a first impression, I think it's you, again, the knowledge and the confidence, because nobody's going to hand you over anything if you're not confident. Nobody's going to hand you over anything if you don't have the knowledge. So after you have the knowledge, the confidence, and the charisma, because look, we both got charisma, and that plays a huge part in gaining somebody's trust. Once you win them over that way, after that, you let the numbers do the talking. Period. Yeah. You let the track record and the numbers do the talking. And as far as investing, it's humbling.
Yeah.
So you have to be humble, but you also have to be sure. Because one, in my business, if you're not sure, that's bad. But if you're not humble enough to say that, okay, I'm wrong, let me exit this position, that's also bad. I always say investing is like being a parent.
Yeah.
It's humbling.
Yeah.
So first you establish the first impression, which is confidence and knowledge. Because look, nothing's worse than somebody who's confident, who's stupid to the fact.
Yeah.
So establish the confidence, establish the knowledge. Then after that, just don't screw it up.
Yeah.
Just be
So
great.
Jerry, if you have like $200,000 or $500,000 or maybe $1 million, should you put it in a personal checking account, in a business checking account?
Definitely not.
Or should you keep like how much money in what account, and where do you move it to? Where do you protect it? Because let me give you an example. I've had times where the state of California just took all my money, and I had times where the federal just took all my money. So like, what do you recommend? Whether you have 200K, 500K, or $1 million in the bank account?
Well, to your point, I will say, and look, I talked about this with Michael Saylor. He was telling me, and he was reminding me how Bitcoin is the only asset that cannot be taken away from you. And I thought about that, and I said, oh, wow, he's right. If you have real estate, it can be taken away from you, or you have to pay taxes on it. So it's not really yours. When you have Bitcoin, there's no board, there's no earnings to screw it up. So it's the only asset, one of the only assets that you truly own. But I think if you have that money, I think dollar cost averaging into something as defined as the S&P or Bitcoin, not speaking crypto, Bitcoin only, I think over time, dollar cost averaging in, which means, again, you put the same amount into the asset every month over a 10-year time horizon, has been proven to win historically.
So Bitcoin, you would say, is a good bet too?
I think it's still early, but I think Bitcoin has proved itself. I think Michael Saylor's right in saying that Bitcoin is one of the only assets that you truly own outright. It's like on the weekend, you want to buy a house. Where do you get the money from? Banks are closed. Crypto market is open. So I say Bitcoin and S&P 500 over a long time horizon has proven to win.
So wrapping up here, like S&P 100, like people that are watching this and they don't quite understand, maybe they're
S&P 500.
S&P 500, yeah. What does that mean, and how does it work?
Yeah, so S&P 500 is 500 of the baddest companies on the planet. And every year, every quarter, the companies that get S&P 500 is literally the top 500 baddest companies on the planet. And companies have to perform a certain way every quarter to be in the S&P 500. And if the company sucks, they get taken out of the S&P 500, but it's an index that you can buy a piece of all 500 companies in the S&P 500, which the ticker is SPY. And if you dollar cost average into the SPY, which is the S&P 500, then over a 10-year time horizon, since the beginning of mankind, it's been proven to win every time.
So those are the top 500 companies.
Top 500 companies worldwide. Those are your Apple.
And they guarantee you 10% return?
They guarantee you 10% return over a long time
horizon. Is there a risk where you could get less than 10%?
Yeah, 100%. There's always a risk. I mean, you look at the dot-com boom, you look at 87, you look at, 2020. However, if somebody dollar cost averaged and took 15% of their paycheck every month and put it into the S&P 500 since 1976,
yeah,
they'd be so rich.
Yeah.
So regardless of what's happening, every month you take whatever percentage of your paycheck and you dollar cost average into the S&P 500, and over a long time period, you are guaranteed to win.
Is that where you invest most of the money?
No. So my company stock picks. So we screen to find stocks that perform better than the S&P 500.
So do you guarantee a percentage?
No, we don't guarantee a percentage.
What's your average percentage?
But the average percentage has been 20% or more.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
So just one last thing here. If people are watching this and they want to invest, like they have some money, like, are you looking for people that are only at a certain level? Do they have to have like millions? What's the less amount that you'll take? And then how can people qualify to like invest their money with you?
Well, anytime anybody invests in a fund, you have to be an accredited investor, which means that you have to make at least $250,000 alone, or I think $500,000 as a couple, which is pretty much the same thing. But our minimum is $250,000. So it is for a very specific clientele, but it's not unreachable.
Yeah, and you're managing right now like billions.
Where between discretionary and advisory, we're managing
in the bees.
Yeah, well over that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So Jerry, if anybody wants to reach out to you, they want to hire you, they want you to manage their money, help them with their investments, where can they reach out to you and where can they follow you?
They can follow me. My Instagram is Real Jerry Ford.
You got it right
there. And I tell you, make sure it's the blue check, because there's a lot of fakes.
Yeah.
Dude, somebody told me that they gave a Real Jerry Ford page $2,000. But it wasn't this one. You. So make sure it's blue check.
Real Jerry Ford.
Real Jerry Ford. That's it.
That's like celebrity name, Jerry Ford. And Jerry, tell everybody here like one story that you've never told anybody, like something like private. You never shared on social media or publicly. To close out.
I think the Prince. I think the Prince story of me giving him my entire life savings that I watched him spend in a weekend at Coachella. I mean, the first thing he did when we got to Coachella is he bought everybody shots in the VIP section.
And you guys were like down to the last 200 grand?
Yes. He said, shots for everybody. I said, brother, we have a limit now. And of course, the bartender was like, "We'll give you guys a
What's
deal."
the most you ever seen him spend in the night?
His money, $1 million.
$1 million?
$1 million.
$1 million in a night.
$1 million
in a night.
In a night. In a night. He was a savage.
$1 million in a night.
$1 million in a night.
What do you do with $1 million in a night?
A lot.
That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, easy. I mean,
wow.
It's like when The Last King died a minute ago. I think they all, the major princes, and I could be wrong, but they inherited billions of dollars apiece on top of what they already have. They're puking cash. He's a cash cow.
$1 million a night.
$1 million in one night. We've been in Central Pay. I've seen him spend easily $750,000. I was on a, you know what? I got a story for you. I was on a yacht with him for 30 days straight. It was me, him.
Was it fun?
Let me tell you, it's me, him, I think his brother or his cousin. It was three of us, three guys. There's 20 girls on this yacht.
Like 20, like random girls or?
Well, they were random to me. But it was
there's 20 girls, like
20 girls.
Just so that we get a little bit graphic here with people watching this on the podcast. So these 20 girls, what do you say? They're 8s, 9s, 10s?
Oh no, they were 10s.
20 10s.
No, they were all 10s.
20 10s.
Look, when you're a billionaire prince,
you don't take 9s.
Why? He's paying for it. So if he's paying for it, you might as well get the best that you could get. So it was three of us.
And 20 10s.
20 10s. 20 10s.
Yeah.
Which is why when I came back from it, and I met my ex-wife,
you were fucked.
I said, I'm ready to get married. I've done and experienced everything that I want to do and experience. 30 days, 1 month. It was insane.
I bet.
All of my wildest fantasies, wildest dreams at 27, 28 years old, they were coming true in real time. They were coming true in real time. I mean, it was insane. But it's good that it happened.
And the yacht was where? What part of the world?
We were most of the time we were in all of the time, sorry, we were in France.
France?
We were in France.
Monaco?
It was really close to Saint-Tropez. Because we
Saint-Tropez nice?
We partied in Saint-Tropez hard.
Is Saint-Tropez like what? How do you compare it to like Miami?
No. Saint-Tropez is his very own monster.
Is it better than Miami?
I think it's better than Miami. I think if you are the right person with the right people and you have the right checkbook, it can be better than Miami.
But Saint-Tropez is more expensive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Got it.
Especially because when you're in Saint-Tropez, you have to do Saint-Tropez things.
Yeah.
And it's just a little more expensive.
Yeah. Well, billions, 2010s, and Saint-Tropez, dude. Hey, it was awesome, bro.
I appreciate you, man. This is a long time coming. We gotta do a part 2.